welcome back to our My Team Career Mode episode. This is a very different start to usual. We're doing a double race episode, so we're going to get through them as quickly as we can. In all honesty, this one wasn't the most interesting race, so you're going to see why. We're starting now in a bit, but I hope you all enjoy this episode. This is the penultimate round and the final round. I know there's a chunk of content missing, but yet again with the recording issues have struck us. But unfortunately there's not much we can do about that. With 5 red lights for the feature race, it's a decent start. We get an incredible amount of wheel spin, which is really holding the start. We send it down the inside again. This puts us neck and neck with Schumacher, as he squeezes us to the inside, but we also squeeze our teammate out. He will probably be real to all of Verstappen behind, who is suffering from engine penalties, as is Norris, which is why we're starting in the position that we are in. We would have been starting last if we weren't the engine penalties behind. We get really close to the rear end of Schumacher there, and Norris is essentially pushing us through the corners. If we don't use any overtake here, he might look to the inside, but we managed to keep ahead into this really fast right-hander. Going for a move up there is really brave and pull it off. We send it down to the inside of Schumacher. I can see everyone going really slowly, so I thought I might as well send it up. What's the worst that can happen? As remember, we are trying to beat the Haas this season. There's 1 or 2 points behind between us, sorry. We get a collision warning, but I'm not completely sure when we hit. I couldn't feel anything on my wheel. But we're going to follow Stroll through the final corner to end out the fast lap, and to be honest, the race wasn't very interesting, so we're going to jump a bunch of laps, I think to lap 9, because there was 0 action. We're going to follow Schumacher still though, no, Magnussen now, follow Magnussen. We've dropped a few places, but to the likes of Verstappen and Norris, they made light work of us, and let's not forget, we're the slowest car by a country mile, and the least reliable. We've got a yellow flag in the final sector. Everyone's going really slow ahead of us, and that must be a retirement for Yuki Tsunoda. We know that Honda engine isn't very efficient and reliable, so I'm not completely surprised by that. We're just checking for engine wear, double checking if we're going to need any engine penalties, and we've got an engine failure. This early in the race, we weren't even high on wear on anything, and we have an engine failure and we have to retire from the race. Hulkenberg's getting held up by us, and that is that race. That's done. Safety car, but that's not going to benefit us obviously, and that is incredibly frustrating.
Great work from the Haas team. They take a famous win here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
There aren't many teams as they come out onto the podium now who could do what Haas have managed to accomplish here. It's hard to believe how competitive they've already become. Amazing victory.
So now we're going to advance to Abu Dhabi, obviously the finale of the season. Starting in a relatively good position, especially for the car performance, yet more penalties were taken in this race. We were good out of first, but then into second and third we had a ton of wheel spinners. Hulkenberg jumps us and Vettel, and we have an Alfa Romeo around the outside, but we go down the inside of Vettel instead. We're going to keep the inside for this, get a quick switch back to get a good exit off of this, to try and perhaps jump Hulkenberg, maybe even Stroll. You can brake incredibly late for this. We even get into 3 wide with the Williams, one Williams and the Alpine of Alonso. We're draining the overtake to try and keep ahead of him. but there's not much we can do against the power of the Alpine, even though we have the same engine. We almost run into the back of Gasly as well. That was incredibly close there. We would have lost our entire wing if we hadn't have slowed the car down quick enough there. As you could see, like, we just locked up and straight on trying to defend from Alonso, because we've managed to get a good few positions off the start. Just like most races, to be fair, we managed to usually make up positions off the start. Schumacher has a terrible runoff. We're going to try and go around the outside, but we can't quite find the space. Get a collision warning with Schumacher again. That's 2 races in a row now. He might not appreciate us very much after this season, with how much contact we've been having. We're going to advance now to lap 2 as we go down the inside of Alonso. Still trying to defend him. He runs into the back of Gasly, and I think that is Alonso out of the session. Yes, it is safety car as well. Virtue safety car as well, sorry. Oh, no, there we go. It's been upgraded to a full safety car. That's incredibly exciting on the second lap. We haven't had a safety car in a little while now. So perhaps this could shake things up. I don't think anyone's going to box, and we're certainly not going to box, because 2 laps and there's not much point. As we go on to lap 5 now, when the safety car is ending, trying to get a good run. We deploy the overtake a teeny little bit early. I was going to try and get a run of Gasly, but he runs away on the main straight, and Hulkenberg's making his places as we go wide now. And we're really not helping ourselves here. The tyres aren't even overheating or anything. It's just how slow the car is, being of no downforce at all. And we're even running higher downforce setup. You'll see on the straights just how much they run away. We're going to advance again onto lap 7 with Schumacher behind us now. Gasly's made up a 4-second gap, and we're going to keep trying to defend. We're going to go all the way around the outside, and we're going to clip the next apex, use all of the track on the exit. We get the power down really early. As you can see, we get loads of open. We're going to run as far wide as we can. We want to keep the racing line for this corner as we try and defend around the outside, because the car on the inside tends to drift out and get an incredible amount of understeer. So if we can keep ahead, which we do, we can get a really good run out, which means he cannot overtake us. Again, we've gone to lap 10, but now we're on the attacking side into this corner of Schumacher. And again round the outside, using the exact same technique, and it seems to work. Realistically, no matter what car you're in, the understeer on the inside of that corner on this car is incredible. And we make a huge mistake locking up really far. And now Ocon is going around the outside as he loses the rear end, and we almost lose our rear end. Almost in sync there with Ocon. We managed to stay ahead of him, but now there's an almost 2-second gap to Schumacher ahead, which means we're not going to have the DRS. Which means we're even more vulnerable to the cars behind us now, as Hulkenberg's been dropping back a lot. We're going to go on to lap 11 now. This is when we're boxing. Sainz behind us had damage early on as well, so he's pitted. That's why he's on softs. We almost end up spinning into the pit lanes. Good thing we don't. The tyre wear wasn't too bad, but when the tyres get hot here, which they do, and worn, it can become really difficult to maintain a stable line and a consistent line. So I figured it's best that we try and get an undercut onto the hards, see where we come out, preferably not into traffic. That would really hurt our race if we do. We're going to come out, I can see 2 white arrows. That is the cars of Stroll and Bottas. We're going to come out right next to Stroll. We're going to be able to get ahead of Stroll coming into the next corner. Yes, we are. As we deploy overtake, and this spots us right behind Bottas. So immediately as we get out of the pits, we're into action now. We're going to get a good exit using all of the track. Well, mostly. Don't want to get on the curves because on cold tyres that would be horrendous. Stroll's essentially pushing us down the back straight. We go to the outside of Bottas really late on the brakes. We almost run out of road to use. We squeeze him out on the outside, and now we do not have DRS, so we're going to have to use some overtake to stay ahead. And we're going to use the exact same technique we used against Schumacher, staying around the outside, letting the car on the inside get understeer, and just driving back around the outside. It's a really consistent way of keeping a position at this track. We're going to massive contact with Schumacher after the pit stops have been done, and that was incredibly lucky to have not got any damage. We're going to try and rejoin as safely as we can. We lose the rear end massively. We've spun around. Bottas has got damage, and we've been pushed along the road by Joan. We've been spun around again. We've got a 5-second time penalty, and Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. so much chaos in the space of 2 or 3 corners, and the safety car has been deployed. People are boxing because of the damage we caused, and that was absolute carnage. That was chaos, as we said. We're going to advance to the end of the safety car in just a moment, as we're right on the back of Joe. Hopefully we can get a good restart. So we're going to come through the last sector, freezing goal time. Now we've completely lost the rear end, and that is it. The entire race, everything leading up to now, is done. 2 retirements in a row, possibly the worst way to finish this season. That race was going, to be honest, better than I was expecting, but Charles Leclerc is champion. If only he could have managed that in real life, that would have been spectacular. But that is it for Season 1. Not the best. We weren't expecting wins, podiums today, but we were hoping for a better result. Any result is better than a DNF, so it's quite unfortunate. But game's a game. We did the best we possibly could, and this car is just incredibly slow, and the fact that we haven't been able to upgrade because of the regulation change just puts salt on the wound. We haven't had the opportunity to make the car better in a good few races, so this is the result of a slow car, essentially, which is really, really unfortunate.
Today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be
there we go,
delighted
Max
by
Verstappen
today's
wins,
race win.
Leclerc champion. I'm not going to show you anything for the end of the season except for the finishing positions and stuff, because I have something very interesting for Season 2 that I think you'll all really enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this season. I can't wait to show you next season. It's going to be really, really fun. And I hope you enjoyed this video just in general. I'll see you for the next one. I'm not too sure yet if it'll be iRacing or my team, but we'll see. And yeah, see you guys next time.